Hi everyone, we've got Danielle with us today to talk a little bit about her journey on working with each other for about the last 6 months, I think, which has been an
Yep.
interesting year for everyone in 2020. Um, I can't even remember when we first started working. That was pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's pre-COVID.
it was
Yeah.
pre-COVID. So that sounds like a world away. So first of all, give everyone a bit of an overview. When we first started working with each other, where are you at? What was kind of happening, and what do you do, etc.
Yeah, sure. So I guess for that background, I've come from a very technical role into the leadership space. So when you and I first met, Robin, I think I was about 6 months out of a sort of a separate leadership program run internally through my company. That was really focused on developing myself, and I knew that coming out of it, I guess I wanted to continue on that path and that journey. And there were a few things that were missing for me. And I guess through trying to understand what your program was about, I thought that, you could really help with that refocus and to learn some practical skills that I could implement and also sort of assist with getting that work-life balance back. So
Mm.
yeah, that's probably where I was at when we started.
Yeah, even just when I asked the question, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, when was what was
Yeah.
going on then?" And
Yeah.
so now reflecting, so it's a really good thing to do this, like reflect back. Well, reflecting now, like in contrast to that, where are you at now with things?
Yeah. So feeling a lot more comfortable. I think even in our catch up last week, you made comment to sort of having a bit of a different energy
Yeah.
about me as well, which was nice to hear. But I guess, yeah, through the past 6 months, I feel like I have really been exposed to and really, I guess, had access to those practical tools and tips that I was seeking.
Mm.
So that's been incredibly beneficial and I guess has allowed me to then better self manage and better deal with the more complex situations that I come across. Um, I guess a couple of other things I feel like I'm more planned in my approach to work, which is really big for me because I'm quite high and being adaptable and going with the flow and so yeah, I guess it's a big change for me. I feel like I'm making more conscious decisions and being more present and yeah, being more sort of actively engaged in situations as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And that it is that thing, like we've all got personality preferences, and being slightly more flexible, can be a preference, but like anything, there's a downside to it, and it's a matter of let's still embrace that, but kind of put like the guardrails up so
Yeah.
that it doesn't derail us,
Yeah.
and so we can keep on track. And like you say, it's just a matter of optimum management of self, and also from when we first started working till now, there's been lots of lumps and bumps and challenges along the way. And we
Mhm.
can't change that external environment, but we can change kind of our approach to kind of turning up to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So out of that journey, is there any things in particular that stood out for you that were most valuable, insightful, and it could even be any aha moments that you had that wasn't anything from the program, but kind of insights that you had that's useful for people who are going on that journey of wanting to develop themselves in a leadership kind of position?
Yeah. Um, I think probably from our one-on-ones, the biggest thing you've provided me with is that challenge. So the line of questioning that you've sort of gone through with me has been to really challenge, whether it be my current thought process, my current mindset,
Mm,
my current approach to something in a very healthy way.
yeah.
And that has actually enabled me to start to do that in my own, I guess, thought process as well. So to be able to start to challenge myself.
Mm,
I find that I'm actually subconsciously doing that now as well. And I feel like that's sort of created a healthy sort of journey through that leadership development too.
mm,
Um, what else would there be? I think there's definitely the set of tools that you've provided. I think have just been invaluable to everything in day to day. Prioritizing life, tips on negotiation, all that sort of stuff. I think has been really imperative for me over the past 6 months and will continue to be.
yeah, they're the types of things that, as I kind of constantly talk about, I'm applying them on a daily basis myself as well. You know, I've got a wife and 2 kids and a business and everything, you know, and so it's a matter of, I kind of find if the tool or the tactic or the approach isn't simple, it's really hard to consistently apply it, you know, moving on. But if it's simple and you remember a bit of it, you can really get the value, because getting the value is about taking the, you know, that kind of action.
Yeah. And I think like through it as well, you've taught me to be inquisitive. So that's probably part of that challenge that I was talking about. So, you know, asking questions to be inquisitive and to better understand, so that I think I've been able to apply to nearly everything that I've been involved with.
But then again, even that though, you can go too far and be too inquisitive, like, and not do anything. So but you know, but it's that challenge of like getting that right balance where you can make more conscious kind of decisions, get better outcomes. So and so when we started, were there any kind of blockers, any fears for you kind of embarking on a journey of getting coaching support, for instance, that might be relevant for people who are considering doing it but maybe are not? And any advice in that space?
Okay. Look, I think probably personal mindset is always the biggest challenge, and that probably starting out the journey, I guess, with you was to make sure that I was in that right space, that right mindset space, to be able to go through that process. Because if you're not in that right mindset, then sometimes you put up your own barriers to be able to progress and achieve. So I think it was, I guess, making conscious decisions around doing it to start with. But, you know, working with you personally, I didn't have any, I guess, obstacles to overcome. I think we had an initial Zoom catch up, I think, before we sort of started working together. And I felt that we were able to build a rapport sort of, you know, almost immediately. And I was able to understand what your program involved through that. Just hearing that and hearing, I guess, how that could help was really beneficial.
I think that is an awesome tip for people. And I just had a conversation with someone yesterday who really wants to get support, been struggling. He said, look, but now's time. And then he's gone quiet again. And I followed him up and he said, oh, just give me more time. And I say, time's not going to help you. Like, what's going on? Because it's either, you know, that you're procrastinating it, either that you're not interested and you're just being too polite to kind of tell me, you know, or you've got different priorities, you know, or, you know, it's just the wrong time for you because you got something going on. It would be better to look at, like, what is it? And he was like, oh yeah, really good point. And he said, well, there are some other people who've approached me about help. And I'm like, and he said, I'm not sure which way to go. And I'm a bit unclear. I'm like, well, understanding that you're not clear, but get clear. Have a conversation with each of them and say, like, I couldn't emphasize that enough from what you've just said, is that if you're thinking about doing this, reach out to people, reach out to me. I'm more open to have conversations with anyone about if or how I can help them out. But also, it's not just about reaching out, it's reach out to anyone, you know, and it might be an executive coach. It could be a life coach. It could be, you know, high performance coach, could be even a counselor, a psychologist, anyone. You know, there's so many people to help, and you don't know if the person can help unless you take an action, which is to put yourself out there and go, look, can we just have a chat to see if this is going to work for me? And so I think that's a really important thing for people to do is just take that approach, you know, just test and then see if it feels right. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think even, you know, once say you're in the program working with you, I think, you know, there's been times when I've felt that way, like I'm too busy. I don't have a half an hour, I don't have an hour, whatever it might be. But then you just say, no, actually, this is my time.
My time. Okay, watch the overwhelm training. You're not actually, you know, watch the optimized productivity training, then come back. No, that's awesome.
You allocate to working on yourself. So it's, I think it's important.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that. Hopefully it will be, I know it will be a value for people kind of watching this. And thanks again, Danielle. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Feel free to share with friends and check out what's up next for more videos from my channel.